What's going on, guys? Hey, I have some really good information I've been thinking about for a few days, and I'd love to share it with everyone, the whole world, and let it be known. Now, this this video is going to be about how a jury trial or the process that you're taken through in a criminal case and some elements about it that makes it sorcery, it makes it unconstitutional, it makes it a scam or a sham, however you want to say it. And it's a really good game by the system against us dum-dums. Um, but if you ever wake up and you look at what's really going on and you really investigate, it's going to be mind-blowing. Now, I believe that there's very few people that ever go to a jury trial that win. It's a dog and pony show, really, in reality. When you stop and look at it, there's nothing fair about it. It's really, it's a monetary action against you. Doesn't matter if you're guilty or not guilty, because they play the same crap on everybody because they all cooperate together. Declaration of Intergovernmental Dependence. Look it up. They all agree to work together. You can rewind this anytime and look at this to understand the concept I'm going to try to get across to you today. Now, I've been thinking about this for years and years. It's decades. So I'm going to start from the beginning here and not make this too long. Now, the bizarre thing about this is when people that aren't attorneys that go to court to be an attorney, they play a game with them the first year. And if they don't really do what the system wants them to do, then they get rid of them. Those people won't be there more than a year. If they're for common law and they're for the people, or they really believe this game, because it is a game. If they really believe the game, and then they will promote them and have them move on. If they don't believe the game and they are sympathetic to the people, men and women, then the professors get them out of there as soon as they can. They'll last a year, and that's like a trial period. You can check this out. Anybody you know that was an attorney or anybody that wasn't an attorney, find out what happened. And they had common law questions in their tests. And if they were sympathetic to men and women, then they could tell through these tests. So the first year was just a test to see if they were going to be an attorney or not, and they would throw them out if they had common law ideas, if they promoted people or helped people. Because when you go and you get an attorney and you try to tell them the story, they don't want to listen to you. It goes right through one ear and right out the other, because they're going to do their agenda. And they're going to cooperate with the prosecutor, the judge and probation and whoever it is, the police. They're going to cooperate. And they have these tricks. It's like sorcery, because sometimes they don't tell anybody what happens. Okay, now we're going to start with basically the courtroom. So the courtroom, it basically administrates trust. Now, if I'm wrong and you've got a better idea, I welcome that. Now, this is not legal advice. This is just a breakdown of one man's thoughts and ideas from serious years and years of experience dealing with people and courts and lawyers and cops and judges. Now, I try to stay out of there, but I've gained this knowledge by helping other people, So the judge, number one, he is appointed the trustee by the clerk when the case is taken on, and they'll run a check on you to see if you put in any documents, because there's systems just like a credit bureau that keeps track of the documents that you do and things like that for government and in the system. You put in documents, it's just like a credit bureau. So they can go to LexisNexis is one of them, and they can look that up to see if you put in any documents. If you filed documents like a trust, but this is pretty much all about trust, but it's also a scam, all of it. Now, yes, the punishment's real. Yes, the charges seem to be real, but they can make up what they want to make up. So the judge is appointed trustee by the clerk of courts. A lot of people know this. A lot of people know that it's a trust, and judge is appointed trustee, but they switch it on you just like that, but they don't tell anyone. And then when you go to court and you don't object and you don't settle the matter by whatever means necessary, they'll switch it and take silent judicial notice that you're now the trustee. Well, as everyone knows, in a trust, the trustee has to perform. So you have to perform. And when you don't do it, then they take over, and now you're not the beneficiary of this all capital name trust anymore. And it's not about you didn't do it or you got witnesses. They don't want to hear that crap. They want to explain to you that it's either go to trial or plead guilty. I can challenge everyone in this viewing area to try to plead not guilty when it's time for trial. Okay, that by itself is just incredible. You cannot plead not guilty. You ever have to plead guilty at the end, or you have to go to trial. And even if you don't want to go to trial, they'll force you into it. And they'll say you agreed by some kind of magic or sorcery, like you didn't respond or you didn't rebut it, but the whole time your lawyer's telling you to be quiet because you can't speak. You're actually dead, like you are on the birth certificate. You're not allowed to speak until the end. So they take you through this emotional stuff because they will not listen to you. Most of the time you won't talk to the lawyer but maybe once or twice, and boom, it'll be 3 months, 6 months later, a year later, he's done waived all your rights and everything when you've sat there because he won't listen to you. Corpus Juris Secundum Volume 7, Section 4, I've mentioned it many times. The attorney's duties is to the court, the public, and not to the client. It's absolutely 100% true. Go look it up. It's a legal encyclopedia. All libraries have that. So he doesn't work for you. That's because it appears like he's your attorney. They'll say he's your attorney. He says he wants to win and he wants to do these things. And it's all BS because it's all fraud. All of black lettering is fraud in the court. Every document they ever put in is fraud. It's lies. You'll find so many mistakes it's not funny. They want you to discover those mistakes so you can go pay an attorney to correct everything, to get you into a better position to plead guilty, because you can't plead not guilty. So this is all has been perceived by the Bar Association to set the lawyer in his job, which is to stab you in the back. Look up attorney. It means to turn you over, a turn. Look that up. The prosecutor basically, I believe, goes down and files an actual name holder with your name at the top and his name at the bottom or her name at the bottom. So then they're allowed to represent you. They're supposedly representing you. So now you have two attorneys that are helping you. What better position could you be in reality? So think about this. Neither one of them are helping you. They're helping you solve their problem by you being the acceptor without ever mentioning the acceptor. So then you're going along and you don't know what's going on, and that's how they win all of the cases. Now, if you go straight in and ask for a jury trial, you're stupid, because a jury trial is to find you guilty or not guilty. Well, if you already know you're not guilty, what do you need a jury trial for? None of those people ever swear to anything and they're not liable. They're allowed to go in there and talk about pink elephants and purple polka dots if they want to. And I've actually seen that in a real case. The guy got 19 years. Okay, I'm not saying he didn't deserve it, but they're allowed to do anything they want. It's a acting session on a stage inside that courtroom. all kinds of bizarre things going on. So what I'm saying is, point blank, it's all a setup to appear like they're protecting your rights when in reality they're actually violating rights that they say exist. They're just liars. Every one of them are liars and manipulators. They all work together, wink, wink. They'll all help each other. They'll all make sure that it looks right. Your lawyer's going to be telling you, I'm going to do the best I can. Look at all these motions that I did. 17 motions. We're going to win something, okay? And they play all this psychological things on you. For example, if you've ever been in AA or NA, what does everyone end up saying? Hi, my name's Harry. I'm an alcoholic. They want you to admit it. So the things that happen to your body, mind, and soul is the 5 phases of acceptance or the 5 phases of denial. If you go look this up, it's a real thing. And it's the stress that your mind, body, and soul goes through. And then at the end, you throw your hands up and say, the hell with it, I'll just say I did it, even if you didn't do it. So psychologically, because of their education, they've created this sham in the courtroom, and the courtroom is a sham. All of their positions, like if you have a bar card, does that mean you can practice law? No, it does not. It means you're a member of their group. So it's like satanic stuff, it seems like. So it's all a setup. Anybody that wants to go to trial is stupid, because you don't need to know that you're not guilty, because you're not guilty. So the jury has no first-hand knowledge, the judge has no first-hand knowledge, the prosecutor has no first-hand knowledge, the cops really have no first-hand knowledge, but they all write it down and swear to it basically, but there's no liability attached to it. Really they don't even swear to it. If they have a bond, an oath and a bond, it's a blanket bond or something, and you almost can't nail them down. The insurance companies almost won't pay you. I mean, it's all a cooperative effort by these idiots that want to make it appear like it's the fairest process on the planet. When if you knew the things, you'd be mad. So if the prosecutor has a witness, that witness can only be for the prosecutor. It can only help the prosecutor. If the defendant has a witness, it can only be for the witness. It seems fair, but they're going to let each other twist whatever they want to twist to whatever position they want to twist it to, okay? They'll get up there and say all kinds of things. They'll make up anything they want to make up. They'll point blank say you did it with no liability. They've taken liability out of their positions across the board. None of them will ever get in trouble for anything that they did to you, because all of these mechanisms that I'm trying to explain about how this is all a setup, this is all was set up by some very, very educated people, and it's been a conspiracy. Now, if you are not willing to say it's a conspiracy, I mean, you don't deserve any rights. If you can't see that it is a conspiracy, and they don't ever show any witnesses, they don't really prove there's any evidence at all, they just give it to them and say, here you go, this is evidence. Nobody ever swears to it, nobody's ever liable. They can find a hair and say that's your hair when it's not 100% positive. Neither is DNA, neither is fingerprints. Fingerprints, they only look at 10 points. If they find 10 points that are the same, then they'll say that's that person's fingerprint. And they'll get up on the stand and say that it is. And all these dum-dums in the jury boxes will agree with them because they say so. So it's almost every angle of what they do that they say they're doing is not 100%. There's so many people in prison that's innocent. So it doesn't really deal with or go along with the idea if you're guilty, you're guilty, or if you're innocent, you're innocent. It has nothing to do with that. It's all a monetary action, and you have been tricked, hornswoggled, and everything else into going to this jury trial because you sold the car and mortgaged the house to pay this liar that's supposed to be helping you when he's not helping you. He will not even listen to your story, okay? Maybe for a minute, but he'll switch it on you. because he's been trained so many years on how to deal with people. And if you didn't do it, maybe you did something you got away with and you deserve to be in there anyway. I mean, I'm just saying. That's what they're going to say. But that's not the way that they come across. When you ask anybody, if you got in trouble, there's this great thing called the jury trial that you can go to, and if you're not guilty, then you're going to go home. Well, that's absolutely the biggest damn lie I've ever heard in my life. You have a 99.9% chance of going to jail, and for these numbskulls that are in the jury boxes, because there's 2 jury boxes, 6 people and 6 people. So make no mistake, there's so many things you don't know. If you knew these things, you'd be really mad. But it's bizarre when you look at all the mechanisms from the start to the beginning, what they do. You may win at the jury trial. You may be that odd person that wins. But I promise you, they don't give you back your money. Your bond money, the money you put into this, the money you hired the lawyer, the money you gave that lawyer, you don't get a dime back. They don't reimburse you for anything. So that should be a proof that it's a scam. Now, if you could go look how much money is made from you being in jail or going to a jury trial, or how much money they made out of your trust that they created when you were born, it's all a setup. It doesn't matter if you're guilty or innocent. If you go along with what they say and you're quiet, you default, and they're doing it to you. The last thing I'm going to tell you is the attorney files, before he starts anything with the court, a thing called leave to proceed. Now what that is, essentially, is the lawyer or attorney giving up any minor errors. Now everything's going to be a minor error. They're allowed to do anything they want to you. You don't have to have a speedy trial, or anything. The lawyer will go ahead and sign papers that you waive all of that. You could be in the county jail for 2 or 3 years. I'm just saying. They don't even go by their own rules, because their whole ultimate thing is to monetize you for a certain thing that they're saying you're doing that's probably not even illegal. They just wrote it up and said, this is what you did. Now, if there's no injured party, they're not supposed to be able to do those kinds of things to you. Only when there's an injured party, Now, I'm not saying there ain't people that deserve to be in prison, but I'm saying that the whole system from start to finish is a scam. And if you look at the details on what they say and what you've learned growing up, you've been hoonswoggled. Have a good day. We'll talk to you soon.